Batman has discovered ultimate power. So what does that mean for the Dark Knight? Welcome to the Comicstorian channel, where we take some of your favorite trade paperbacks as single issues, and I break them down into digestible bites to help you understand. Then I read them dramatically back to you. All alterations of the panels, text, and images are to prevent copyright problems, and all art is owned by its respective companies. Batman Universe is a story that is seemingly out of continuity that Brian Michael Bendis wrote. It was a 6-issue, long-form story about Batman discovering the ultimate power of the universe and what he was going to do with that. So let's get into our compilation of all of our Batman Universe videos. As Batman is racing down the streets of Gotham in the Batmobile, he asks Alfred to tell him the riddle again. Alfred says that he would rather not, but Batman tells him that he can't read the encryption from here. Say it, word for word. Alfred sighs, telling him, "When is the Riddler not the Riddler? How disappointing." Riddler has always been among the most clever of adversaries. They always appreciated the amount of work that he put forth. This riddle is quite beneath him. Batman aims his grappling hook out of the roof, telling him, "I'm sure I'll tell the Riddler that he lost a fan, going in manually." He pulls the trigger, and the anchor launches into the nearby building and begins to reel him up. Once there, he stands over the motel where the reported break-in is happening, and he sees dozens of men in green outfits running out. He jumps down into the middle of the group of Riddlers, asking, "What is this? What am I looking at?" Alfred tells him that the facial recognition software IDs a few of the men as professional stuntmen, Hollywood stunt crews hired as Riddler decoys for high-stakes robbery theater. Batman responds, "Stunt teams?" And Alfred tells him, Yes, I can hear the smile. Stuntmen. Have at them." Batman begins to beat on the men as he spots the real Riddler among the crowd. Some of the stuntmen begin talking to each other, asking, "Is that really Batman? He's so much bigger in person." Batman continues to punch his way through the crowd, calling out to the Riddler. And as he gets close, the Riddler spins back, holding a gun. Batman lunges at him, knocking him through the glass window of a restaurant, picking up the object that the Riddler stole, telling him, "This is on loan from a museum in St. Petersburg, Russia. This egg has an estimated worth of $15 million. No criminal in their right mind would pass it up. Who is the buyer?" The Riddler begins to shake his head, telling him, "When is the Riddler not the Riddler, Batman?" Batman grabs the Riddler by the shirt, telling him, "Yeah, I got the note. The stuntmen were cute, but..." The Riddler stops him and repeats it again. "When is the Riddler not the Riddler?" Just then, Alfred says, "I'm picking up 3 unique readings." Batman looks up to see 3 lights shining in his face. Before he can even move, he is shot in the chest with an energy blast. Some time passes as the GCPD arrive, and one of the officers asks, "Should we? You wouldn't mind, right?" An officer reaches down for Batman's mask, and Batman tells them, "Please stop. Where's the egg? Where's the Riddler?" After interrogating dozens of stuntmen and getting nowhere, Batman meets with Gordon and asks if they have any word on finding the real Riddler. Gordon tells him no. They have an APB, but they got no hits out on it yet. Batman groans, telling him, "He was scared. That wasn't the Riddler's gig. He was being used." Gordon pulls out a note stating that the curator of the museum called and said that they had a name of the original owner, the person who donated the egg and sent it on tour. The egg's original owner was a mean hombre by the name of... Batman takes the note, reading it out loud. Jonah Hex. The next morning, Batman sets out for a small town in the middle of nowhere when he hears someone state, "Now what the hell am I looking at exactly? You made a wrong turn somewhere?" Batman turns to the old woman crossing guard, telling her, "I'm actually here looking for someone. A girl who calls herself Jonah Hex." The woman shouts, "Jenny! A man is here to see you!" From the nearby garage, a girl with red hair asks, "Yeah?" And when she turns to see Batman, she bursts out laughing, asking, "What the hell is this about?" Batman holds out a small device with a projection of the missing Fabergé egg, telling her that she donated this to a museum in her great-grandfather's name. How did she come across this egg? And did she know that it was valued at $15 million? Ginny asks, "Is that right? Are you going to give me $15 million? Do you know anyone that would give me $15 million? No, I don't either. So it doesn't seem like it's really worth that at all, does it?" Batman pauses for a moment and asks, "You donated it? Has anyone suspicious come by?" Ginny tells him, "Yeah. A man dressed like Batman showed up and started getting in her face about something that has nothing to do with her. I know who my great-grandfather was. He was one bad hombre. Was the egg stolen? Is that the thing? Because I didn't do it. But before Batman could ask any more questions, Alfred radios in that they've spotted the Riddler. Ginny watches as Batman jumps in and drives away, and once he's gone, she goes into the back of her garage. She kicks over a pile of things stacked on an old wooden chest and opens it. A faint glow can be seen as she pulls out a picture of Jonah Hex and quietly says, Batman. Later in Amsterdam, Riddler is sitting in the VIP section of a club telling his friend, Finn, you can't be here right now, you have to leave. Finn laughs, telling him, this is the place to be. You're a famous American gangster. People love that in these parts. Besides, we're 1,000,000 miles away from Gotham. Riddler looks up, telling him, no, he's not. And just then, the tall shadow of Batman walks in the front. Finn laughs, don't worry, we have everything covered. We got a guy. Before Batman can make his way over to the VIP section, he hears something and turns back to see Deathstroke. The two charge at each other, exchanging blows, and during the fight, Riddler attempts to escape. Batman throws a batarang back, but leaves himself open to be sliced by Deathstroke. The batarang smacks Riddler in the face, and Batman jumps over Deathstroke, throwing him into the next room. Batman walks over, asking him, who hired you? And Deathstroke points, telling him, you know, he's getting away. Batman looks back and Deathstroke jumps to his feet and swings. As the punch lands, an arrow shoots by, latching onto Deathstroke's neck, spraying green gas in his face. Batman looks up at the knocked out Deathstroke and Green Arrow tells him, you're welcome. Now, what is all this about? And please do not answer it in the form of a question. Riddler scrambles to grab the box, telling him, riddle me this! What's red, white, and blue all over, no matter where you are in the world? Just then, the police charge in, telling everyone to freeze. Batman throws down his smoke bomb, telling Green Arrow that he was hoping to get something out of the Riddler before they showed up. So Green Arrow fires a smoke arrow, telling him, I've never been to Amsterdam before. It's quite lovely. Also, Riddler's getting away. As the two escape out the back, Batman asks, what are you doing here? And Green Arrow tells him, while Batman was chasing the Riddler, I was chasing the buyer. And the two stop as they see a trail of cards with the Riddler's question mark on it, and then they move to higher ground. When they land, they see the Riddler flying away on his cane, but Green Arrow releases a suction cup arrow and hits Riddler in the foot. Batman takes the cord, pulling back hard, sending the Riddler right into his oncoming fist. Green Arrow picks up the egg box, asking, what do we have here? But all he finds is another card. He reads the card out loud, stating, riddle me this. What makes you think I am stupid? Green Arrow shrugs and says, I thought Riddler was better at this riddle thing. Just then, the box releases a gas in Green Arrow's face, causing him to drop it. Batman walks over, telling him, it's a neurotoxin. Take this antidote, Ant. But Green Arrow's eyes turn red as he smacks Batman away and fires 3 arrows at close range. Batman deflects the arrows, shouting, you're poisoned! But Green Arrow swings his bow, lunging in. The two begin to wrestle on the rooftop, and just as Batman takes out the antidote, Green Arrow knocks it away. They begin to struggle, with Batman holding Green Arrow's arm, telling him, I'm sorry for this. And he releases an electrical charge that stuns Green Arrow. Before Green Arrow can get back up, Batman jumps on him, spraying the antidote. And Green Arrow screams out. After a few moments of struggling, Green Arrow coughs, I'm fine. Take a deep breath, or 5. I'm thirsty, Batman. I have something for that too. So, the Riddler escaped. I have a tracker on him now. That's such a Batman thing to do. You need a hospital. As the two of them stand up and the Batcopter arrives, Green Arrow continues. Did I jump you back there? Yes. Did I win? Of course. I feel great shame. Can you, not tell the others? Meanwhile, elsewhere, a beaten and roughed up Riddler walks up a path, telling them, I came all the way to Amsterdam to meet you, but this damned egg, why can't I think straight? A gruff man takes the egg, telling him, it's an interesting side effect. You didn't look inside, did you? The Riddler asks, what? Inside? No one said anything about anything being inside the damned thing. Vandal Savage holds up the egg, telling him, I've been looking for this for many lifetimes. The Riddler stares at the egg, asking him, what's inside? What's it doing to me? Later, as Batman stands on the wings of the Batjet, he looks over Gorilla City, and Alfred asks, Are you really here? Batman tells him that the tracker placed on the Riddler shows this as his last location. They're going to have to break in and look around. And just as Batman climbs up onto one of the buildings, a group of guards stop him asking, "Can we help you?" Batman holds up his arm, showing that he's disarmed, telling them, "I need to speak to King Namandi. Tell them that Batman is here." A short while later, Namandi sits on his throne asking why is it that Batman broke into their home. Batman tells him that he needs to speak to the Riddler, and Namandi says that he knows not what that is. Batman describes the Riddler as a human male, normally in a green jumpsuit with question marks on it, and he likes to talk in riddles. Namandi leans forward asking, "Is that a person? There is only one human here, and that is you." One of the telepathic gorillas whispered to Namandi that the human speaks the truth. He can read his mind, even with those primitive mental shields. Batman goes on telling him that the Riddler has stolen something very dangerous. Namandi thinks for a moment and says, "Fine. I am curious. Lead the way, Batman." Batman hurries down the hall as his cowl pinpoints the location of the Riddler's tracker. And as they turn the corner, they see Riddler passed out on the throne. Namandi asks, "How did the human get in here? Even for a full-size gorilla, that would be impossible." Batman sees a note in Riddler's hand and reads it. "Sorry for the confusion. I'll catch you up on all of this at the next meeting. Get the egg to the Hall of Justice Science Lab immediately. Signed, K." Namandi asks, "Who is the note from?" And Batman tells him, "Superman, supposedly. But right now we need to analyze this egg and..." As Batman opens up the egg, everything turns to black and he feels like he's falling. When Batman comes to, he gets up asking if Alfred is there. But Thanagarian guards tell him, "There is no one by that name. How can we help you?" As Batman opened up the Fabergé egg, everything turned black, and he felt as if he was falling. When he woke up, the Thanagarian guards asked him what he was doing there, and later, as he sits in a sealed cell, a voice tells him to remove the battle armor cowl. Batman looks around, telling them that this is not Earth. That's right, Thanagar. 3 shadows appear before him, stating that they know where they are, but they don't know who he is. So Batman begins to take off his armor, stating that he understands that he is a stranger armed to the teeth, but he's actually a good friend of Carter Hall, as well as Shiara Hall. The shadows ask, "Is that so?" "Uh-huh. What a treat. Remove the cowl." After a brief interrogation, the shadows ask if he would happen to be compatriots with one Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern of his sector. Batman tells him that he is, and after a few moments, a black veil is lifted, and a female Thanagarian guard lands, stating that she is the chief of officers, Jigsaw Hall. Please accept their apologies. They have run a series of checks against the information that he has provided to confirm who he is. "Welcome to Thanagar, Batman. How can we help you?" Batman explains that he was teleported here by mistake, and he needs to get to Earth as soon as possible. There's an urgent matter that he must get back to. Jigsaw says that they will bring him to the Science Center at once. What is he? And 8? Batman asks. And 8 what? After putting on a winged harness, another guard says that it sounds like the device that he is dealing with has unstable quantum cores. Jigsaw then adds that the teleportation technology itself is very temperamental and doesn't always... But before she can finish, an explosion goes off, knocking several guards out of the air. When Batman looks back, he sees a giant being, and Jigsaw shouts that it's Animar Sin, the Sin Eater. Animar swings his arm, trying to hit the guards, knocking everyone out of the way. But as Batman falls, everything begins to turn to black, just like it did when he was teleported here. And when he blinks, he finds himself back in the destroyed Gorilla City. He groans as he gets up, and he sees Namandi on the ground bleeding. He runs over asking what happened, and Namandi tells him that he took the egg. He also took the one that they call the Riddler. He attacked their most powerful, and he was attacked. Batman yells asking, "Who?" And Namandi says the one calling himself Savage. He calls himself Savage, and he has the egg. All of that power. Batman slows down asking, "Do you mean Vandal?" And Namandi tells him yes. Who is he? Who is Vandal Savage? Batman. Batman! And later, Batman wakes up again as he hears voices stating that he's up. He leans up from his bed, seeing Hal and Cyborg asking what just happened. Hal tells him that he is safe and sound at the Hall of Justice. Now, what is this about Vandal Savage? Batman says that he didn't see him. He was thrown across the galaxy, landing on the planet of Thanagar. and then he came back to Gorilla City. The Riddler stole a very expensive egg from the Gotham Museum, and the egg was donated by a member of Jonah Hex's family. They've been chasing that egg all over the world, and now, apparently the galaxy. The last thing that he remembers was that the egg emanates at least one type of uncatalogued radiation. Cyborg tells him, yeah, it's all over you. Even in the earliest editions of the galaxy, it's a new type of energy. Congrats, you get to name it, Batman. Batman gets dressed stating that it's definitely altering brain activity. The Riddler was not himself. When I touched the egg, it created a wormhole across the galaxy. And Cyborg goes on, yeah, the egg seems like a piece of old tech, really old. Why does Vandal Savage want a piece of broken? But just then a ping goes off and a projection appears showing the location of where the energy is coming from. Hal looks at it telling him, I know exactly where that is. Dinosaur Island. So he takes Batman with him, and as they arrive, Hal follows the trail of energy to a mountain and the two begin to sneak inside. When they reach the opening, they see Vandal Savage standing by a stand with the egg placed on it, quietly thinking. After a few moments, he throws his arms up yelling, damn this thing! The Justice League is practically here, and I'm no closer to understanding it. He walks into another room, leaving the egg alone, so Batman tells Hal, we have to take that and go. They both begin to move towards the egg, but as Batman reaches for it, there's a loud rumbling sound and everything goes black again. Once it stops, Batman and Hal get up and they find themselves in a desert. Batman listens for a moment and then he hears a horse, with Hal telling him, yeah, I hear it too. Just then a man on horseback stops asking, what the hell? Batman looks at him stating, that's Jonah Hex. I think we're in the 1800s, Hal. And Hal says, oh no, I don't know anyone here. Jonah then pulls the hammers back on his revolvers asking, did I just hear the name Jonah Hex come out of your circus folks' mouth? Batman begins to take off his mask and Hal asks, are we really doing this? And Batman tells him, of course. In this culture, masks are for robbers and criminals, and we come in peace. I would like to speak with Colonel Hex, alone. Jonah keeps his guns trained on the two of them, telling them that they better say their piece right here, right now. Batman then asks, have you ever met a man named Vandal Savage? He has some things around here that might be hard to explain to anyone else. Have you seen anything around here that might be hard to explain to anyone else? Something like super sciences? One of the men with Jonah then asks, what he talking about? And Batman goes on telling them, we're chasing a man named Vandal Savage who has stolen an egg. It belonged to you. Maybe not yet at least, but it will be yours. And well, we're not from your time. Jonah goes silent and Batman tells him, the egg brought us here, to you. I don't know what the egg is or how it works, but it did belong to you, and it was in the custody of your great-granddaughter. The man with Jonah asks, what's the word? What are we doing with these clowns? And Jonah tells him, go on and get. The others begin to leave, so Jonah gets off his horse telling him, a lie like that has to be true. Learned a while ago that if you hear something so crazy you barely understand it, it's probably true. And speaking of strange things, what's this green getup? Hal changes back into his civilian clothes asking, is that better? And Jonah says, I'll get you something to wear. After getting dressed for the era, Batman explains that they're looking for a man named Vandal, who's probably one of the most dangerous men that he's ever met. Jonah jumps back onto his horse telling them both, I'll tell you what I know during the ride. Hal then asks, how long is your ride going to be? And Jonah tells him, about 6 days north. So Hal tells him, right, about that, we're just gonna fly there. So after flying everyone over and stopping to let Jonah throw up, Jonah wipes his mouth telling him, I brought you here because this is where it happened, where I last saw Vandal Savage. Hal brings everyone over to the abandoned town and says, there's no one here. And Jonah tells him, because no one is here. This Savage, he came here, he had a crew, and he was digging in this old mine. The place hasn't been up and running since before I was even born. But Savage. Before he could go on, Hal calls out to everyone as his ring starts to emit an uncontrollable energy. And Batman asks, what is the ring doing? And Hal yells, I don't know, it's never done this before, Batman. Just then the ring picks Hal up and pop, his hat falls to the ground. Jonah asks, he dead? And Batman says, I really hope not. Before they can try and figure out what happened to Hal though, a voice says that it seems that this is a day of firsts then. I believe you're looking for me, and this. Batman and Jonah turn back to see Vandal standing with the egg, and Vandal goes on telling them, you're the Batman from the 21st century. You traveled back here to get this? Batman tells him, You're one of the smartest men alive. There's something inside that egg, or maybe it's made out of something. It's creating unpredictable quantum events that potentially have catastrophic effects that neither of us could ever hope to control, Savage. But as Vandal begins to speak, Jonah yells, "Will y'all shut up?" And he begins to fire his guns. One bullet hits Vandal, but instead of falling, he stands back up, telling him, "It's generally annoying that you thought that could work." Jonah then says, "I find it annoying that it didn't work. That witchcraft? Asking for a friend." Batman tells him it's because Vandal is immortal and can't be killed. So Vandal calls out to the Black Order, telling them, "It's time for you to earn your pay. Get him." An all-out brawl erupts with Batman and Jonah beginning to fight their way through the horde of ninjas. The two hold their own for a while, but as the overwhelming numbers of the Black Order come down on them, they pin the two down. Batman calls out to Vandal, telling him that he needs to put the egg down, and as he struggles to free himself, he runs towards Vandal. Batman reaches for the egg when suddenly the egg flies over Batman's head, and he asks, "What just?" But before he could finish, he's lifted up into the air and everything goes black again. When he blinks, he finds himself in Crime Alley, asking Alfred if he can hear him. Alfred says, "I've been trying to reach you all night," and Batman stops him, telling him, "I need a pickup. Hurry." Batman hides the egg in a popcorn bucket and he waits by the corner when soon a car pulls up. Batman yells, "Great, now we can get." But Alfred reports that the car hasn't even left yet. And from the car, Vandal Savage steps out with a gun. He tells him, "I've been looking for you for over 150 years. He pulls the trigger on his gun, firing a red energy blast into Batman's chest. He picks up the egg, laughing. He gets back into the car, telling him, "That has been one hell of a chase. Rest in peace, Batman." As time passes and Batman lays in the pouring rain, the faint sound of an engine can be heard as Alfred pulls up. Alfred gets ready to get out of the car. But before he can even open up the door, Batman's body is lifted into the air and begins to shine brightly. Batman begins to cough as he sits up, and Alfred asks, "What happened?" Batman picks up his hat and tips it to a passing woman, stating, "Ma'am." As he gets in, Alfred asks, "Did you almost die back there?" And Batman tells him, "I believe I did die, but I was spared." Later that night, over at the Gotham docks, Nightwing says that he loves the new Bat Chopper, so, what are we doing out here? Batman explains his current findings of the egg and that its energy is coming off of the ship in the sea. They need to get back that egg before something bad happens. It's possible that Vandal could be trying to bury it, but whatever the case, Vandal will not have access to it. Once the Bat Chopper is set to autopilot, Batman and Nightwing jump out and they fight their way through the sump. As they enter into the control room, there's a massive explosion knocking the two down, and Vandal's voice can be heard. He tells Batman that it's been one hell of a chase, but if it wasn't for your intervention, I may not have figured out how to control this beautiful new power source. And with that, one wish will be granted. Where and when would you like to die? Pick a place! Batman starts getting back up, telling him, "You don't understand the power that you're holding. That power is unstable and broken." Vandal tells him, yes, but try and talk me out of it. Come on, pick a place at Batman and not Robin. Batman begins to march forward, shouting, "I'm not afraid. I have no fear. In the brightest day and the blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight. Those who worship evil's might, beware my power. Green Lantern's light." As Batman marches forward, the egg in Vandal's hand begins to open up and reveal a white ring. And with it, its shining light, it transforms Batman into a white lantern. Batman then makes a light construct mace, and he swings it at Vandal, knocking him and his ninjas away. He then looks at himself. "It would appear that I've become a white lantern." Nightwing tells him, "Cool, congrats. Do I get one too?" Vandal jumps up shouting, "Why? Why did the ancient power ring pick you?" And Batman pushes Vandal away, telling him, "I knew that the egg itself was a housing for something. At first I thought it was alien tech or a boom tube of some fashion, but after a run-in with our Green Lantern friend, I witnessed some behavior from inside the egg." As Vandal gets up a third time, Batman hits him again, and as he pulls back, he says, "The ring is whispering to me. I am officially not in control of this. I might be trapped." Nightwing goes to grab the ring, but Batman yells to him, "Don't touch it! If the ring even thinks that its host is being attacked, it will protect me." But as Batman goes on, Nightwing looks around and tells him, "Okay, well, I'm not joking when I say don't turn around. Batman, of course, looks behind him, and he sees John Stewart along with the rest of the Green Lantern Corps all floating there. John tells him that he is in serious violation of the Green Lantern laws. Surrender immediately, Batman. And Batman yells, I'm Batman of Earth. Some of you know who I am. One of the Green Lanterns then says, we do know who you are. Now drop the ring. Without telling it to, the White Lantern ring opens fire on the Green Lantern Corps, forcing them to shield themselves. As the Lanterns begin to encase the ship that they were on, John shouts, you are under arrest, Batman! And Batman tells him, okay, just please do not attack. This is an unstable power source it is feeding into. But before he could finish, there's a massive explosion as the White Lantern ring rips apart everything. Batman tries to control the ring, but as he does, everything starts to fade into white. And as Batman blinks, he finds himself in a void of prismatic colors, and he simply says, uh-oh. Minutes pass, and then hours, and then days, and maybe. There's really no telling how long Batman's been there, but he looks around, and he tells himself that either he's inside the White Lantern ring, or he's passed out, or he's stuck in a timeless space with nothing. He looks down and he asks the ring what is its function, but nothing happens. So he says, greetings. My name is Batman and I'm from Earth. With whom am I speaking with? But again, the ring doesn't respond to him. Batman takes a deep breath. Okay, breathe. I'm a detective in a world with no clues. This could be fun, as long as my physical body is okay. Which, it is currently in the middle of a firefight with the Green Lanterns and Vandal's guards. So in Nightwing's own words, Batman's physical body is not okay. Back inside of the prismatic world, Batman begins to recite the Green Lantern mantra when suddenly a female guardian appears before him. She tells him, greetings, Batman. He has been selected as the protector of the galaxy. He has shown extreme courage, morality, and appropriate sense of self. He may call her Seta. She is the creator of the original Power Ring, and would he like to hear the history of the ring? Batman asks if she's a program, and she tells him that she is. He then asks if she's the representation of her original creator, and she says yes. Finally, Batman asks how long ago was she created, and Seta says nothing. She begins to repeat her initial greeting as the White Lantern armor begins to form around Batman, and she holds out a battery telling him that as a member of the White Lantern Corps, he will have access to this power battery as well as... But he stops her, telling her, from what I understand, this is the first version of the White Power Ring from a long time ago. Not only has this ring's program and model improved over the years, but this program has been corrupted. It is damaged. Seta stares at Batman, and he goes on. The ring was lost on Earth for many years, and now it poses a very large threat to us. The ring's power matrix over time and space is dangerous because it is a damaged program. Back in the real world, the White Lantern armor fades from Batman, and Nightwing asks, can somebody get Batman's body away from the fight until we figure out what's going on? But as Batman begins to get up, Nightwing says, okay, never mind. Is everyone all good? Great, time for us to get the heck out of here. And Batman tells him, no, not yet. The White Lantern released me, but it chose another user. Vandal struggles with the Green Lanterns when he notices the white ring is forming around his finger. Batman tries to stop him, but Vandal clutches his fist and he releases a powerful blast of energy, knocking everyone back. He picks up Batman by the cowl, telling him, after all this time, the ring chose me. This ring would have been mine years ago if not for you standing in my way. And because of that, I will wipe you from the universe itself. No one will have ever known your existence, Batman. Soon there's a flash of light, and everyone is transported to the old warehouse with the Riddler tied up to a chair. A hand reaches out, pulling off the hood, and the Riddler asks, what the hell, Deathstroke? This isn't even a riddle. Seriously, where's the professional courtesy? Deathstroke holds out his sword to Riddler's neck, and the man with him asks, where is Vandal Savage? He stole an egg from the Gotham Museum. We know it was you that took it and sold it to Vandal. Now where is Vandal Savage? The Riddler looks at the gruff-looking man, telling him, are you Bruce Wayne? Bruce tells him, no, I'm not. Now where is Vandal? So after a little more pressure, the Riddler gives up the location of Vandal Savage, and Bruce sets out to find him in an old castle. He scales the wall, climbing into the courtyard when he sees Vandal lying on the ground with the White Lantern ring. Bruce walks over to him, asking if it's really him. I've had dreams. I was compelled to come here to see you. There's an egg and a ring but as Bruce gets closer, Vandal continues to lay there saying nothing, and soon his hand floats up and the ring slides off his finger and onto Bruce Wayne's again. With another flash of light, Batman finds himself back in the ring, but this time with Vandal Savage. Vandal says that it would seem that he has found himself trapped in an endless void with no space or time. It's rather off-putting. And Batman asks, what is going on? Where are we? Who are you? Vandal looks at the ring and tells him, I warned you that the ring was broken, and so because of that, Batman was wiped off the face of the planet. Now I need Batman to get me the heck out of this place. Not fair. So, welcome back, Batman! With the snap of his fingers, Batman begins to remember everything, his past, his friends, even the villains, and he shouts, I'm Batman! And he punches Vandal square in the face. Vandal falls back, and as he gets up, he tries to use the ring, but it does nothing. He asks, why won't the ring kill you? And Zeta appears, telling him that as long as the ring has deemed them worthy, it will not hurt them. Now that the ring is secure, please use it to pass through these portal doors and return back to. But before Zeta could finish, Vandal charges for the gateway, with Batman chasing him through space and time itself. So many worlds, so many possibilities, all passing by. Batman finally tackles into Vandal Savage as the two of them go rolling down a snowy mountain when another gateway opens up, and Batman reaches out grabbing the ring, and as he does, everything goes back to normal. Batman stands up and a Green Lantern takes the ring, telling him that they will handle things from here. Batman looks out at Nightwing and he asks, does the world know about Batman? And Nightwing asks, what? Where's Vandal? So Batman pauses, telling him, I don't know. Wonder where the ring dropped him off. Meanwhile, far in the past, Vandal wakes up in a desert when he hears the sounds of horses getting closer. As he looks up, he sees Jonah Hex, and Jonah tells him that he's under arrest. And over at the Gotham Museum, the night shift security guards notice a shadow moving through the halls. As the shadow passes over the display case where the antique egg used to be, it's now suddenly there. And one of the guards says, wow, I've been a security guard for my entire adult life. That literally never happens. Who would return a priceless egg? And the other guard asks, who do you think it was? It was Batman. And there you have it. Hope you guys enjoyed this little story, personally with Brian Michael Bendis over at DC. This, I think, is one of his best stories that he wrote. The Batman universe storyline. And I wish that they would do something with this whole White Lantern Batman and the infinite power that he obtained. But like I said, it's probably never going to be referred to as being in continuity. It's always probably going to be this little exterior storyline. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to check back every Monday for another full story, and I'll see you guys later right here at Comicstorian.